Welcome back, everybody, to the North American Strikers League, where we are about to get into our first match of the day. Winterfall taking on the DUBU Strikers. My name is Gordo. I'm joined by Fem Bison today. Bison, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just moved into a new place, a bit stressful, casting as soon as I'm able to get a desk set up. But, it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, no, that's how it is sometimes. Shout out to everybody over on the desk. Bold moves there, predicting against the homies while they're right in front of you. I gotta give it to them. That's it takes a certain amount of confidence in your own predicting abilities to be thrown down like that. So
Absolutely.
Good on them. Winterfall coming in with a couple of substitutes for this game number one. Sounds like they're going to be running Fiery and Vens here to start things off. Taking on the DUBU Strikers, who are fresh off a week one win up against the Goats. How are you feeling about this matchup?
The analyst desk predicted that DUBU would take it broadly, right? I think I'm still favoring DUBU. However, Fiery's incredibly good, even if he's just a sub. He's still an incredibly good forward player, and Vens is no joke either. Even if Lumos had some comments about the Vens goalie, so it's not. I don't think it'll be a wash. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, fair call out for sure. I like what I've gotten to see out of Fiery when I've gotten to see them play. Haven't seen much of Vens before, so going to be an interesting one for sure. But we'll see how they're going to be able to do. They probably weren't planning on running this roster, from what we understand. Like, stuff kind of came up for Mystics, so definitely going to be a little bit on the back foot to start things off. But we've seen some crazy upsets happen in this league before. Definitely believe that they can be coming in here again, as I'm seeing a little starting thing start to flicker there. So I think we are going to be into this game before just a couple more seconds are done.
Absolutely. And loading into the map, we'll see if that higher weighted carousel. Oh, never mind. I was wrong. We are not loading into the match.
We've been memed.
Yeah. I was just about to talk about that carousel weighing Inky's splash zone higher than the other maps. I was curious if it was going to pop up, but now we're going to be left waiting a little bit longer. But these new maps might be pretty interesting, honestly, with like the match, right? Because most teams don't have any real practice on the maps outside of playing solo queue or I guess trio queue in ranked. So I think if it's one of the new maps, things could be a lot better for Winterfall, because there's just a lot more potential for things to go haywire for both teams.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't gotten to play a whole bunch on the new maps either, but they definitely are taking some more liberties with what can happen on some of these, right? There's a lot of different wild cards that can come into the equation that can really throw off a lot of even the most experienced of rosters, right? Game didn't used to do this a couple days ago, right? It just started. And so that really does, give you that extra bit of variance. And variance is something you're looking for if you've kind of been thrown off where you might have wanted your roster to be. And that's going to be the case for old Daftgrass there, making his jump from the desk right onto the field here.
Absolutely. Though I will say, I think generally the West players being so mechanical, right? I'm thinking about Breads, I'm thinking about Threezy when I say this. They might be able to adapt better in this kind of situation as well. So once again, even if it's one of the new maps, it's not exactly, set in stone that whether or not anything will happen. But I have, playing against Threezy, playing against Breads, I played against them recently, actually last night. Bows a bunch went up against DUBU Strikers, they got washed. But their ability to just freestyle on the fly is actually, I think, one of their scarier aspects of their playstyle. Threezy getting a dribble on the corner, me personally as a goalie, that's like the worst sight.
Yeah, it can definitely see that coming on through as well. As we are into the map for real now, it is going to be Imy's app to start things off, so not going to be one of our spicier new picks. So we are going to check out what the selections are going to end up being. Kazan is still disabled, as was stated previously. Everything else is up for grabs, though. We've got Finny back on the table. Going to be exciting to see if that one ends up coming on through for our round one matchup.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Razvis Juliet hover as well on the side of Winterfall, and since neither team banned Razvis, I think that's actually what both teams are going to go out playing. And Imy's app, such a volatile map, especially when you're letting both these characters through. The middle third of the map becomes an absolute no man's land. You're not allowed to cross, otherwise you risk dying. So I think a lot of KOs are in store for us this match, though. Daftgrass hovering the Juno goalie. Bit of a surprise jump scare there.
Yeah, Fiery hovering that Juliet, a favorite of theirs. The X already locked in there for the side of the Sundubu Strikers. That definitely points towards what might be a pretty aggressive composition coming out from both sides. Yeah, the double Rasmus, the double Brawlers. Looks like it's going to be Drakkar in the goal for Sundubu. And Juno there coming through for Daftgrass off that fresh little mini rework.
Absolutely. And while I think X may start off with less power than Julia, if Sundubu can take some of these sets, we'll see, that signature X scaling come in. Either way, this is going to be a heavy match, I say, as 3Z fails to load into the lobby. Well.
Sick. Well. We're not happy about that. That's definitely not what we're looking for here. So we're going to give it a couple seconds, see what happens. Maybe 3Z joins. Maybe 3Z doesn't. And we get a little remake here.
Hopefully he does.
We could chat about starting Awakenings. I mean, it's prime time all the way, baby. So who knows what the other one is? We got 5 prime times on the board right now. And I'm going to guess 3Z took that too. I think that's a solid choice on Julie. And if Fiery's willing to go for it, it's probably a little best in slot action.
I think 3Z actually picked the X, no? And hey, there is a chance that it was something like a Cast Last or Happy Start. Then
True.
3Z might have probably gone for that instead of prime time. But I guess we're not finding out as we're a little over 50 seconds into this match, and 3Z is not reconnecting. I assume there's going to be a remake soon. Unfortunate.
This is the kind of action I'm here for, though. A nice Strikers League.
Yeah.
We got a few players just striking in place. Nobody's moving.
3Z's back! Oh!
All right. Can we gentlemen's agreement this? Are we going to play? It looks like we're going to play. Everybody's stepping out here.
Huge.
All right, let's go. We're into the map. It took a little bit longer. We're starting off in overtime for round 1 in set 1. But if nothing else, we've got ourselves some Omega Strikers action.
Absolutely, and now action indeed as Ven looks to give the core to Fiery. Fiery immediately capitalizes with the pass, wins a strike war against Breads, takes down that barrier, and the goal is open for Sundubu Strikers. And as I say it, not enough time to speak. Fiery pockets a shot in the top corner, and they go up 1-0.
Beautiful shot there by Fiery. I mean, Obscure Breath just wasn't ready for it. Nice, a little bit of a space there in the top right corner, and does end up with that first goal going over to Winterfall. So was perhaps one of the strangest round 1s I've gotten to see in my time casting here, but it does go over in the favor of Winterfall as Daftgrass going to start coming on out of the goal. Knocked back and forth. Breezy Breezy trying to be that big bully on the X that he wants to be, and I can confirm that he actually did take the reverberation. So you called it there, Bison. It was actually a different selection.
Yeah, I think that reverb, usually not considered a strong awakening, but when you're playing against such a kill-heavy comp, and I didn't even get a chance to speak, 3Z immediately just pockets the shot in off the corner there, while Daftgrass jumps away, trying to use that slime, that new Juno rework to save that, but unfortunate. Can't get it. But as I was saying, the extra stagger from Reaver might be very helpful, especially against something like Rasmus Julia on this map, right?
Yeah, definitely can see that there. You want to have access to those X abilities just a little bit more often as well, and you want to get access to that extra stagger to just keep on stacking up each and every one as it ends up coming your way. We'll see if 3Z's going to be able to pull that off, as he's already got himself a little numbers advantage here on the left side of the map. Cleared back on out by Vens, but Gramella going to be ready to receive on the bottom as 3Z moving on forward, dribbling back and forth with Daftgrass, but Gramella is there to knock it into the goal barrier. Cleared back out by Daft. 3Z already a little bit low here, has to watch out for Fiery coming down, and one more lock-in load will knock it right past Daftgrass and take a 2-1 lead for the Sundubu Strikers.
And that was just some phenomenal play there from Sundubu. I'm surprised, actually. I thought this match would be going the other way around with Julie Razes being so strong, able to KO off that middle. And as I say, Fiery finds one off the edge. But it looks like Sundubu usually is finding these KOs and getting these goals. Now Breads put under pressure, but finds it clear from behind the barrier. Excellent defense there, uses the pendulum swing to make sure it does not get back to him. And they managed to solve Gramella's death timer, and now they're looking to start an offense of their own.
Aggression from Fiery up on the top side going to result in them getting staggered. They're going to get knocked aside here. Have to dodge out on that death touch. They step into it, though, and are going to get taken right back into Obscure Bread's goal. A big KO earned for the side of the Strikers, but it's going to get matched by Winterfall as they take out the Drakkar in the same moment. Fiery back on the map now. Ven's going to escort this core, pass it back up, trying to utilize that Striker advantage to make something happen up against Obscure Breads, but able to clear it on out once again, throws out another death touch, and not much to be found here. Both parties looking to see if they can yank someone into that center pit, and so far, done a good job by both teams of evading at least that particular kill, but around the corner, past Daftgrass, a set win is found for the DUBU Strikers.
Absolutely massive stuff there from Breads. What an incredible angle. 3Z also there to back it up. You saw him flip. He was ready to take the shot himself. Actually, also a bit of an interesting dynamic here happening at the Winterfall goal line, as 3Z is just sitting on Daftgrass, right? So there's a bit of a Juno, the puppet master character, controlling her slimes from the distance while getting absolutely beat up. But it does seem like if it gets to the line, 3Z is managing to put these shots in. And also, huge draft here from DUBU Strikers. Raz is getting stacks on stacks, X getting Catalyst, especially into the damage-heavy comp, and Missile Prop from Drakkar. It's looking rough for Winterfall after that draft. Missile Prop from Drakkar especially just so strong, gives him so much range on that shot and so much more core control. This might be dangerous.
Yeah, if you were to give one criticism of Drakkar, it would be that, the shots don't last quite long enough, don't take quite as much distance as you would like, and Grimella going to be solving for that very early on. Already, though, the goal opened on up, and Grimella stepping forward, trying to clear it back out, but then sneaks it through. Obscure Breads can't get his hands on it, and it's going to be a goal starting off for Winterfall once again.
And that was an incredible shot there from Fiery and Venz, both of them finding that hole in the offense. Such a small pocket to just try and put that shot in, but they managed to find it, and it looks like that first goal they scored in the last set. We'll see if they can keep it up this time, though, as Grimella now looking to put some pressure on in the midfield. However, Venz managed to beat it out, and there's just some jousting going on as 3Z looks to get into the play, gets a kill on Venz. Now he has the flip and is a dangerous, dangerous man. The goal is opened up for Daftgrass, so Daftgrass is leaving, trying to get a barrier of his own, finally teleports back. This flip is out, though, and it's rough, but he misses the shot, and Daftgrass manages to find the save.
Yeah, that was a really tough situation there for Daftgrass, but he manages to navigate his way out of it. Now has all of his team back and on the field, going to be knocked away. Grimella trying to keep up the aggression on the bottom side, but it will get knocked past, and Fiery manages to open up the goal there up against Obscure Breads. 3Z, though, moving in from the top side, knocking Daftgrass around, and Grimella going to look for the shot, can't quite find it. Pass up to themselves off that lock and load, but gets cleared out again. Obscure Breads with the core flip, double core flip from Grimella and 3Z, but neither of them actually really get that big fast shot. Knocked again by Obscure Breads on the pendulum swing. Fiery going aggressive, though. A KO earned for 3Z. Grimella just guns him off the side and gonna get knocked back on over to 3Z off the back of another clear, but Daftgrass is doing a good job of playing defense, keeping these cleared out with the Blobos, and so far has not let anything through.
Absolutely, and now Daftgrass actually using the jumps, working magic with the jumps, honestly, finding these preemptive clears in the midfield, keeping the offense up. I guess I was neglecting to mention the super surge for him, but I didn't think it would be big as it is now. Look at him now trying to put that offensive pressure up, using the slimes, using everything he's got to give Fiery as many chances as he can, but great defense from Grimella and Breads there, and the flip shot misses off the corner, cannot get it to Fiery, and Fiery can't find one of his own. Both teams looking for whatever they can get, and finally 3Z with the flip in front of Daftgrass, and it's going to go in for some DUBU Strikers. That was an incredible point from both teams. Incredible defenses on both sides. That was what we're here to see.
Absolutely. Love the point on the Super Surge there and what it's been able to do for Daftgrass. He is launching himself all across the map and is constantly able to keep up that pressure. He's the one starter on this team from those who are regularly named, and he's going to have to come up huge to be able to find big wins here for Winterfall. So far, he's done a really solid job. They're still behind. He's going to have to make a little bit more happen, but been really impressive so far up until that moment. Maybe misjudging where the core was going there a little bit. Jumps too far ahead, overshoots it, and gives a nice easy shot to 3Z Breezy.
To be fair, it's very hard to guess in that situation, right? As a goalie, you're just basically taking an unreactable 50-50, and you're just jumping to where you think it's going to be. All 3Z has to do is react for you to commit to one side. And, you know, it happens. And as I say it now, Daftgrass instead using that long-range jump to put the pressure on. That slime is going to give the core to Fiery, and Fiery's going to open up the goal. Now the jump slime useful covering his tracks, but it's not going to be enough as Grimella finds the pass to 3Z. And 3Z with another core flip just shoots it right through two people.
Incredible stuff. People both all cornered up on the bottom side here. Can't play that defense. It gets knocked right up into the top corner, and that ends up with a second set going over to the DUBU Strikers now. On set point, going to be looking to take game number 1 here in pretty quick and clean fashion. Let's see if the draft here can make that change.
I think it really might, right? We're seeing that Monumentalist, though. I think Daftgrass is actually going to look to take Saga Striker, which makes sense given that 3Z is sitting on him so hard that Saga Striker could be a huge deal. In fact, letting him survive more, letting him not be forced to overcommit on offense so that he can take some more of that pressure. And it might be all the difference that it needs to happen. However, Obscure Breads was just given extra special, and 3Z was just given 1-2 punch, and Grimella got heavy impact. Those are once again 3 best in slot draft awakenings for these characters. That extra damage, and of course Happy Star for Rasmus on this map. All those death touches can be firing on all cylinders, getting as many kills as he can.
Definitely, and you know, the rest of the squad here for Winterfall, they have to deal with the leftovers. Maybe not exactly what they would have been hoping for here. The Stagger Swagger on to Daftgrass and stuff like the Orb Ponderer here for Vens. Maybe not the best in slot that you can end up finding. Now going to be seeing what they can make happen, though, even with maybe the not peak of awakenings that they've been able to get here. But Vens manages to find themselves a KO there, and there's going to be a return KO found by the Strikers. Daftgrass buying a little bit of time, launches himself forward, looking for an aggressive angle. Vens can't get over towards the core. Does have a duel with Grimella on the bottom side that Grimella ends up winning out on, knocking it back over to 3Z Breezy. Obscure Bread's coming up towards midfield to knock it back over. Grimella keeping the pressure on towards that goal barrier. They do manage to find it off the back of a core flip from 3Z Breezy, and now moving back up, another pendulum swing, another pass up to 3Z, but Vens takes control. He's got his core flip ready, could look for a big shot here. KO found on the X, there's the core flip, a great save by Obscure Breads, but he knocks it back off the center and scores it right back into his face.
Just a little bit unfortunate. I don't think neither him or Grimella expected that to happen. But, you know, these things do tend to happen, even to the best of us. Breads, one of the, you know, undisputably one of the best goalies in the game. And as we see, he's still human.
A tremendous save into a hilarious blunder there. You know, you gotta love it. Happens, can't predict everything all the time. Some crazy geometry at play and knocks it right back into his own goal.
Absolutely, and now Grimella looking to knock it into the enemy goal barrier and manages to find it off the back of the corner. And Breezy just with the catalyst meter uses that flip, hits it through Daftgrass. We've seen this happen, I don't know how many times now this match, but that catalyst is really coming through for him.
Yeah, the X just thrives with these kind of energy-focused awakenings, gets to just stack it up, sit in the enemy goal arc where he feels most comfortable, bullies the goalie, and finds himself those big shots. Grimella trying to repeat that performance now, does get cleared over to Obscure Breads, will open on up his goal. Grimella gets it back over to 3Z, though, who's going to keep on up his aggression, but all around the world, and Obscure Breads, distracted with a Juliet in his face, opens up for another goal there for Winterfall.
You know, you said distracted with the Juliet in his face. It's kind of a same thing happening on the other end of the map, right? Both forwards seem to be just trying to disrupt the enemy goalie as much as possible. And it's working out for both teams, as we can see. These shots are going through. It's very hard to play defense when you have a brawler in your face just trying to hit you as much as possible. And as I say it now, 3Z trying to hit Daftgrass as much as possible, trying to push this core through. Can't quite find it, but the offense isn't dead yet for DUBU Strikers. The death touch goes out from Breads. The pendulum swing as well, just keeping things up. And now 3Z once again with the flip. And there's just so little you can do. You have to hit him to keep him away from you, but the more you hit him, the more meter he gets.
Yeah, little catch-22 coming through from the DUBU Strikers, gets themselves another goal, and what was looking like it was favorable for Winterfall is now 2-2 in set number 3. A goal here for the DUBU Strikers will win them game number 1 in pretty quick fashion, and immediately going to be some aggression coming out of Winterfall. They step up towards the right side, but they are going to end up losing a member for it. Now Ven's going to have to make up the difference. Staggers Grimella, who's out here snagging away some orbs, but is still going to be very vulnerable. A core flip flip comes through from Daftgrass, launches themselves back out of the goal arc, trying to find themselves a nice little barrier, but it gets snagged back away. Obscure Breads finding the mark with the death touch. Goal out opened by 3Z Breezy. Obscure Breads still playing defense, knocks it down towards Grimella, who gets it past Vens. Daftgrass on the defense, Molten Bolt to clear it out again, and they need to get it in 3Z's hands. He's going to have access to that core flip here before too long. Finds a big KO onto Vens on the bottom side. Now Obscure Breads passes it back up to Grimella, but Fiery takes Grimella right off the map. It's a 2-on-2, and the core flip is now down for 3Z, going up into Daftgrass's face, trying to push him back, but it's just not going to happen.
And now they're forced to stall out Grimella's dead timer, but Daftgrass is just away from the goal, accidentally loses it from the corner, and all 3Z has to do is pocket a shot in this wide open goal. And it's going to be game one going to DUBU Strikers. Just a bit of an unfortunate overcommittal there from the side of Winterfall. But it was looking rough anyway, I have to say. Those drafts were so hard to contend with. I mean, as I was saying, 3Z getting Catalyst, and you have to hit him to keep him, it's just, something's happened.
Definitely. It was a tight last round there for a while. A lot going back and forth from both sides. Got to give some praise to the fight back that Winterfall was able to show, but at the very last minute, they find one spot where the goal's open. 3Z Breezy gets a very nice bell ringer right into the goal and is going to earn themselves that first win.
Absolutely. And while I was kind of doubting the Juno goalie pick, it worked out better than I expected. I still don't think it's super optimal. However, getting sat on as Juno seems to be not so bad for Daftgrass, as once again I was talking about the puppet mastery, right, with those slimes, but also that super surge with the eject button allowing him to just get away from the goal box, get away from 3Z, really, and have some impact on the map. But that match was just rough. I don't know what adjustments need to be made. I'm trying to think of things that could be done, but sometimes you just get unlucky with the carousel and your opponent gets best in slots on all three characters 3 drafts in a row.
Yeah, you can definitely chalk it up to that a little bit. I agree with your analysis.
I'm not saying that. I'm sorry, not to discredit DUBU Strikers. Let me be very clear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no.
They played very well.
Yeah, no, but and I agree with your analysis on Daftgrass, right? I think he was able to get a lot done there with the Super Surge, was able to get back out towards the middle of the field pretty often, was able to avoid getting taken down by a lot of the pressure that X was putting out. But at the end of the day, it just didn't really end up getting them enough momentum to really be able to turn it into goals for their side. Daftgrass managing to keep themselves safe, perhaps, but the goal, still ends up getting found after enough pressure eventually. You can look at, the shot count, right? Grimella getting more than anybody over on the side of the, or on the side of Winterfall, and the same can be said there for what 3Z Breezy was able to get done. There's just too much pressure coming in from too many angles, and there's not much you could do about that as the goalie.
I mean, absolutely. We will see, however, if Winterfall decides to opt for a more defensive play style. The offense was working quite a few times there, but I think with X sitting on you like that, you might actually. I don't know. I'm saying that, but I'm thinking about it. If you play defensive goalie, you might just become a sandbag for 3Z. So it is definitely not an easy thing to do, to play into something like that, especially as the goalie. No, and I'm talking a lot about the goalie here, but that is just that. I'm not saying that Daftgrass did poorly whatsoever. It just, I think a lot of the stuff that happened there happened on the side of Winterfall's map, right? So a lot of the interaction there was rough to contend with. But if they can, we'll see what adjustments they make, and they might be able to take this to a game 3 or even take the series.
Yeah, absolutely. They've still got room to play with. We are in the best of 3 era of the North American Strikers League. No more best of 2s. We are going to end up with one solid winner at the end of the day today. But the question is, are they going to be able to take it to a game 3 in the first place here for Winterfall? They're going to have to find some fight back here in our second game. See, our queue has just popped. So hopefully we have gotten all the bugs out of the way for game number 1, and we're going to be able to get started here in just a couple of seconds.
Hopefully, indeed, though. It looks like we're a bit stuck in the starting screen. I hope we do not.
Yeah, I really just got to stop even talking about it. I'm kind of jinxing it a little bit here. That's you can blame me for this one.
I don't know if you're jinxing it. This has happened far too many times on stream in the past. It's just common occurrence at this point. It is what it is, right? Hopefully we will load in soon, and we do seem to be. And hopefully this time 3Z will be allowed to connect to the match.
All right, well, we're 2 for 3 now. We've gotten past the loading screen. We're in Atlas's lab as the map. Hopefully now we have all 6 players as soon as the game starts, and then that'll be every box that I need ticked. So, let's see what the selections end up being here. Going to be a Rasmus hover from Vens right away, but not going to take that too seriously, especially when we still see Kazan's being hovered when that character is disabled. Going to be an X-Band coming on through for the side of Winterfall.
I mean, that X-Band makes total sense. Look at what 3Z was doing. As he would like to say, he might call that X-Lore, right? But the era pick here, probably pretty strong. Atlas Lab, not a lot of space when that black hole is up. That Maelstrom is going to be able to cover enough of that space when, you know, when there's sort of like 2 lanes being split by the middle obstacle, right? And Fiery on that signature Juliet, I expected nothing less. But Luna pick from 3Z, I think, on the other side of the map. And, you know, Vaughn likes the pick on this map. We'll see if it will pay off. It's definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, I like to see the Luna starting to get a little more popular. It is going to be 3Z on the Luna, Obscure Breads on the DUBU, Grimella on that Rasmus. And again, Fiery running it back on the Julie here. Again, a favorite of theirs. Let's see what they're going to be able to get done here as immediate aggression from 3Z, trying to keep up that pressure on the Luna, rather, and you know, have been able to use those boosts so aggressively. It just pump out so much damage at such long range.
Absolutely. And taking a peek at the starting awakenings here, we have Ponderer and Chrono Boost. I do think Luna and DUBU are 2 characters who can take massive advantage. Ponderer, and as I say it, Fiery's actually just going to find a kill on Bread, so no orb stacks there if he had any at all in the first place. And now a Fiery's going to take that second barrier. They're just trying to open up the goal. 3Z, though, playing some Luna goalie, you know, showing that the pick isn't as dead as people think. Manages to stall out the timer for Breads to get back on board, and now has an offense going of his own, trying to find a play. Grimella trying to get in the play, but just so low, it's risky for him to walk up into that mess.
Yeah, no, a beautiful little sequence there from Fiery to be able to open on up the goal, but isn't quite able to take it the rest of the way. Another KO found for Fiery, though, and the long-distance core flip across the map finds it past Obscure Breads and scores the first goal of the match for the side of Winterfall.
Thinks that was a very good shot from Fiery, placing it right between 3Z and Bread. Seemed like a little bit of confusion of who was going to field that, and, you know, that shot placement made sure it was confusing enough to get that core in. Now 3Z still with the flip, though, trying to look for an opportunity to use it. Finally goes, takes that first top barrier. Grimella tries to get the core again off of Daftgrass's flip, but instead Breads is going to go down 2 barriers, can't quite find the hook that he needs. And now Daftgrass just looking to hold it down, give his forwards as many opportunities as he can for them to score.
Fire's been kind of slick with it this game so far. I mean, has really found some great angles there onto the goal barriers, but is going to get rocketed down into the blast zone by Obscure Breads. But another clear, another cross-map core flip, and another case where Obscure Breads cannot get to it in time. 2-0 for Winterfall.
That was absolutely saucy, actually. I was just about to say, Vens using that Chrono Boost beam, that extra debuff duration, to give Fiery more than enough time to find these kills near the map. When you're slow and small and just so weak and pathetic, Julie's going to just kill you, right? And immediately they capitalize off that with an incredible core flip goal as well. I mean, Winterfall looking a lot stronger this match than the last one.
Definitely a great start for them now, already on set point here for set number 1. Breezy Breezy, Obscure Breads, and Grimella going to have to team up and find themselves some more play into this game, as they're going to lose a goal barrier once again here to this aggression off the center black hole. Fiery staggered, Fiery taken down. Grimella with the pendulum swing to earn themselves a striker advantage, passing back and forth. Grimella and Breezy Breezy trying to utilize some of that synergy. Grimella goes for it, and there's the rocket in from Breezy.
Trying to utilize some of that synergy, and utilize it they did. What a pass from Grimella through the corner behind Daftgrass to set 3Z up for a very easy dash shot. All I had to do was line it up and knock it right in. And now some DUBU strikers looking to take this set back. Grimella almost goes down. Fiery finding these KO opportunities wherever he can. However, Grimella getting a little lucky surviving there. But the pressure is still strong from Winterfall, even though DUBU managed to get that goal. Breads is actually going to go down 2 barriers, so unfortunate, and go down himself. What a tornado for Vens. The core flip goes out from Daftgrass, trying to pass the Fiery, but Grimella manages to disrupt Fiery long enough. The Fiery can't get a shot off. 3Z forced to use the core flip to stall out the timer for Breads, and now they're actually going to find a barrier, but as I say it, Vens just threw. So many things happened in that sequence, but Winterfall came out on top.
Great threading of the needle there from Vens. Just finds a spot where the defense is vulnerable and gets themselves the goal. And a great sequence there, as you said. A great pass to start things off the back of the core flip. Nearly ends it super early for Winterfall. Good defense to keep things alive for a while from the DUBU Strikers, but Winterfall end up with the set 1 win as now we get into the draft.
Winterfall is heavily rewarded. Built different Juliet and Orb Replicator on the Ponderer Atlas, and killing him for his stacks is, not really feasible with Atlas, right? He has so much self-healing. However, there is something that must be said about 3Z's Happy Star Luna. That damage from that nuke might be enough, but I think my bet is on Dapgas keeping those orb stacks.
Yeah, immediately just a incredibly fast start here from both sides. Vens now with that Monumentalist finding a KO off the magical Maelstrom. Great stuff there as Daftgrass now just going to keep up the defense. It's a 2-on-2, but stepping up towards midfield now to be able to try to help on out for a potential goal. 3Z Breezy again relegated to Luna goalie. The Stagger Swagger not going to be enough to keep Obscure Breads on the map, and gets it past him. Nobody left to defend. Obscure Breads had just respawned. Fiery with another goal.
I mean, Winterfall sort of turning the tables, right? Last match, DUBU Strikers looking so dominant and was being rewarded for on the carousels, but now it's Winterfall's turn. They were dominated that first set 3-1, and I mean, these drafts are coming through. The Fiery with the build difference is finding these KOs, and as I say, I watch Fiery walk up and kill 3Z as well, and now they're just looking to get this top barrier. The Tornado is going to go out from Vens, but a great soup ball from Breads in preparation manages to keep the core out, but does not manage to keep him alive, as Fiery, once again with that build different Juliet, just finding all the kills you could ever want, and 3Z is not going to be enough to stop the core from going in. It's just so difficult to spawning in like that, trying to play some defense.
Winterfall is dominating this game number 2. Now up 2-0 in set number 2. The emotes are coming out and masking quite a big deficit here from the side of DUBU Strikers. They've got to put something together here real soon. You can see they're trying to set up for these well-rehearsed duo plays between 3Z and Grimella, knocking it back and forth to each other as they approach, and it's just getting disrupted and completely ruined by Fiery and Vens here, making so much happen off the back of their specials and off of the aggression that Fiery can show, and getting these huge KOs to continuously find themselves into positions to score these goals. Now, finally, a little bit of a longer set coming on through from the side of the Strikers here in game number 2. And now, as I say that, gonna have their goal opened on up, but Grimella trying to take the aggression out of the bottom side. Here comes that Crater, is gonna be able to open on up the goal. 3Z receives it on the top side, down to Grimella, but cleared on out for Fiery. One-on-one against Obscure Breads. They find it again, and a second set win comes through for Winterfall.
I mean, what can I say? Fiery is firing on all cylinders. He's finding these kills, he's finding these goals, and now he's rewarded again with the first pick of the draft. He has options, right? He's got Prize Fighter, he has Spec Training, he's got Bulk Up. So many ways to continue, and stacks even. There's just so many options for him to continue getting these kills. And now Vens kind of forced to deny the Dancer right from Daftgrass here, but Daftgrass is just going to get Twin Drive Atlas, and we all know about Twin Drive Atlas. It's not as strong as people used to think it was. Still, though, one of his best picks easily, and this is looking like an uphill battle for some DUBU Strikers.
Yeah, no, just constant cosmic expanses are definitely something you've got to be concerned about still, even though it might not be the most broken thing in the game. And as you said, though, you had to deny the Dancer. The orb stacking is just getting too strong, and kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there if you're the DUBU Strikers. Is now Winterfall going to look to close this one out cleanly. Fiery and Vens looking for a place to take that bottom goal barrier. Fiery does manage to get it. Now going to be Fiery in control once again. A nice little double found on the other side, but Obscure Breads really has their work cut out for them here. Had a lot of difficulty defending against Fiery so far, and all three members down here in the corner just stopping this goal at all costs, but Fiery gets it through anyway.
I mean, it's so hard to defend with Juliet with size, and now you're just under kill threat as well. If you stand too far back to try and get that defense going, right, you might just end up dying in your own box along with getting scored with. And Fiery is taking full use of that, and he's playing so well right now, taking advantage of every advantage he's got. Now looking again for his opportunities on the flamethrower. He's going to go out, but what a flip from Grimella, manages to save the barrier, get the pass off to 3Z, and finally DUBU Strikers have an opportunity of their own. But as I say, Vens manages to steal the core right out through the midfield, and it's just going to be so much to deal with as actually just another person goes down. Grimella. Now, Threezy and Bread's forced to hold this corner, manage to find the clear as Fiery bounces it off the back gate. However, it's just Bread's. Now the Tornado's going to come through, and the save is incredible from Bread's. I was going to say it's going to be a difficult one, but Bread's is just absolutely holding it down, showing why he's one of the best goalies in the game. Finally, under all of that pressure, it crumbles, but there's not much he could have done. He had just so much pressure put on him there.
He really did, and now with the full force of all three members back on up, it's going to be the time to look for a little bit of clapback here from the Strikers. Nice clear out from Obscure Breads once again. Threezy down on the bottom side, opens things up. Grimella keeps up the pressure, and a pendulum swing to close it out. 1-1 here in set 3. This is going to have to be the start of the comeback from the DUBU Strikers if they don't want to go to game number 3.
I mean, and what a start of a comeback it was. Incredible defense from Breads there, and Grimella finding a creative goal, but Threezy looks to have disconnected. That is incredibly unfortunate. It actually just lags right out. Respecting the disconnect, shout out Winterfall, but we'll see how long this goes on. That's so unfortunate. That's so, yeah, I mean, that was such a good point to have scored, right? Just for your moment to be shut because the internet is just not working out for you. That is, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. It's a tough position to be in. We'll see when Threezy's going to be able to rejoin. Emote's coming on across. Everybody's chilling. Scurebread's taking a nap up there. Gonna have a little bit of time, a little bit of leeway, and maybe a little bit of a mental reset here from both of these sides.
Yeah, no longer taking a nap. Now he's dancing, hubble bubbling, even bug abusing. I think we should ban him from.
I was gonna say, yeah, Grimella managing to not.
Wait, what's up with that? Actually, hold on.
Yeah, how are they doing this? How is this possible?
I was making a joke about hubble bubbling back in the. For those of you who were around during like what the first 2 months of release, but now we're seeing some actual interesting stuff from Grimella here, just managing to stand in the middle of the black hole. No idea what's up with that. I don't know. A lot of circle walking, a lot of striking.
We're gonna have to research this a little bit. How exactly is this being done? I mean,
my bet is if he moves, it explodes, right? Like it has to be.
Well, I mean, if it does, that's going to be an issue when Threezy gets back. So, for his sake, I hope not, but yeah. We'll have to see.
My guess is it's the camera angle, because, you know, it's panned down, and Threezy's finally back and Vans walks into the bubble.
Right, there we go.
Yeah. And, okay, it looks like we're playing this one out, and Vans is going to find the passes to kick off. Yeah. To kick off the game again as Threezy uses that extra special nuke, gets some damage on Daftcast, but as I was saying, right, so much self-healing, it's not going to matter. I mean, that damage is so inconsequential. He's just going to keep pondering those orbs, keep giving his teammates those cooldowns, and we've seen what Fiery is doing with those cooldowns. Finally, Fiery fails to find a dash punch, but I mean, he's found so many before. It was bound to happen at some point that he missed. And as I say, he just finds the kill ending with Flamethrower. But Threezy, with one of his own, what a rocket, and manages to find the shot on the bottom corner as well. Ben's just too slow to stop it. And I mean, they came back and they're here.
Beautiful stuff there from Threezy, finding themselves a great goal there. Now up 2-1 in this set number 3. And, you know, maybe they just need a little DC reconnect to get themselves back into this one as we are starting on off for what could be a set win for the side of the DUBU Strikers. Early KO found there. I think that was the somersault from Obscure Breads. Definitely going to be giving them some space to play with as it's knocked down to Grimella. Threezy up on the top side. Whiplash does manage to find that last goal barrier. Fiery doesn't land the flurry onto anybody. There's going to be the pendulum swing from Grimella. Doesn't quite find its mark, but Threezy is still there on the top side. Regains full speed. Now going to get knocked aside by that magical Maelstrom, or at least going to be forced to retreat, but Grimella is up with the Whiplash. Has the pendulum swing ready soon. Can they get it past this double defense of Venz and Grimella? Down to the bottom side, Obscure Breads has to let go of one of those goal barriers, and now up on the top side, it is going to be full control given on over to Grimella. Just sneaks it past Daftgrass. Doesn't matter that you have that extra use of Cosmic Expanse with the quick twin drive. Just can't find the defense, and that's going to be a set win for the DUBU Strikers.
And this might be the start of a huge comeback. And now Deadeye up for Luna. Now that might be the difference maker in terms of that self-heal I was talking about with Atlas, right? He has so much healing. But when Luna has Deadeye, it's just so much damage to contend with. Not to mention the knockback. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Threezy already found a kill on Daftgrass. So those orb stacks might be getting continually reset. Not to mention Grimella getting that big fish as well. Raz with the size is no joke. However, there must be something to be said about Venz getting cast the last. Those beams with the chrono boost as well, right? He has like 105% debuff duration. I'm not sure if Gramella's going to be allowed to play the game at this point.
I am not either. It's going to be a tough position for Gramella to be in here. They got the big fish, though. They got a little bit of size to play around with. Now going to be 3Z trying to clear things on out there, but going to get thwarted by a little combination of the soup and the maelstrom. Gramella now knocking down towards the bottom side, again opening up the goal super early here for the side of Winterfall. Gramella now up on the top, going to be 3Z finding one of the barriers, but Fiery on the bottom, one-on-one against Obscure Breads. This has been favoring Fiery for a lot of this matchup. See if they are able to find themselves the goals once again. Clears have been good from Obscure Breads, though. He's got the core flip available as well. Core flip comes through from Gramella, gets thwarted by Fiery as it's down towards 3Z, trying to find their way onto that second goal barrier once again, but the damage is coming on through for this Juliet. And Fiery with that flip available for themselves, going to go for it, but can't quite get it past that soup.
Finally, and 3Z actually gets an incredible dash there, manages to start the offense and immediately take that barrier. And now, as I say, Gramella's going to go down to Fiery once again. I mean, that build from Juliet, still definitely something to be concerned about. However, we've seen Breads hold it down in this situation before, and it looks like he's about to do it again, but what a play from Fiery, dribbles off the back corner and managed to stuff it through 3Z and Breads. Incredible stuff there from both players. I mean, Fiery just came out on top in that interaction.
Great stuff from Fiery this whole game long. Now at level 9 and really looking good in these kind of one-on-one 1v2 situations, able to just sneak the core right where they want it each and every time. And now here comes another one, gets it up around the corner, finds its way onto Obscure Breads, keeps the pressure on, gets a good punch onto 2. Not quite going to be enough, but still really great play coming on out. And now the pass on towards the bottom, an attempted flurry, going to open up the goal in full. And now the clear's out again here from the side of Winterfall, going to have their goal on open, but an attempted response coming on through from the strikers. They get themselves a KO. Obscure Breads making good use of that Tofu Fortress to get themselves some time without Fiery on the map. Let's see what they can do with it.
And now they do something with it. They do indeed finally opening up the goal barrier for the side of DUBU Strikers. But as I say, Fiery's going to get a KO right after Venz KOs Gramella off the top with that tornado. And 3Z, not much he can do here to defend it from the Flame Flurry, just stuck in hit stun, forced to evade. And Fiery's going to push it right past him. So DUBU Strikers on the back foot once again. 0-2 in this what could be the final set, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. A goal here will take us to game number 3. Going to be a huge comeback needed from the DUBU Strikers. Let's see what they can get done. Soup to block things out. Gramella back up, but Fiery with a little breakaway does find themselves the first goal barrier. There's the second, and the goal is opened on up. Fiery could just get the score here. An attempted clear away from 3Z. Magical Maelstrom knocking him back over to the side. Fiery again with control. 1 versus 3. Gets cleared back away by Obscure Breads, and Gramella now knocking it back and forth with Venz at midfield. Another core flip comes on through, but Whiplash is going to stuff it. Fiery takes it back towards Obscure Breads. Magical Maelstrom can't quite find its way into the goal. Gramella with control again, but Fiery still ready to receive. Obscure Breads just keeps knocking it towards this bottom corner. Needs to trust Gramella to be able to get it past him, but Venz is trading it back on up to Fiery over and over again. Finally, they're able to get it through, and a beautifully placed rocket is enough, but it can't stop the goal. Fiery off the back of another core flip takes the win for Winterfall.
That was an incredible sequence from both teams there. The defense coming out from DUBU Strikers, so good, but Fiery is just too strong. Manages to core flip it in a spot where 3Z is forced to make an incredibly awkward save and just cannot quite find what he needs. I mean, Winterfall playing out of their minds that match. Incredible stuff.
Really great stuff there from Winterfall. I mean, a team that Analyst Desk was counting out a little bit. A lot of folks were predicting against, given the roster changes that they were forced to make here. Fiery especially, I think, comes up huge here. 8 goals in this game, 9 KOs, most damage. Super high participation across the board there and making so much happen.
I have to say this, right? I'm playing against PP Legends at like, what, 8 today? I'm nervous now. I was far less nervous.
Fired up.
Yeah. I was far less nervous for that match before casting this one. Watching Fiery just do that, put some fear in my heart as a goalie player, and I'm certainly not Breads, but we'll see what happens later today. That's for 8 p.m. However, I must say, Breads was absolutely holding it down. So many times there, I thought he would just get scored on, but like the pressure he was able to contend with, the amount of strike wars he was winning, the amount of just checkmate situations it looked like that he was able to just wiggle his way out of. Incredible stuff there, showing us why he's a top 5 or 6 goalie. Just not very few players better than him in the box.
Definitely true there, and yeah, was really able to defend against some wacky stuff that it felt like they were not going to be able to get an angle back in against, but the pressure is just too much. We talked about this in game number 1 as well. If you're just stuck in your box, getting shot on over and over and over again, eventually one of them's going to get through. And I mean, Fiery did a great job, especially around those goal barriers, of being able to find angles that Obscure Breads just could not defend, and going to be able to end up with a Winterfall side win as a result of that. The pressure from the Magical Maelstroms from Vens as well, you got to give a shout out to there. That having that extra size on it from the Monumentalist ended up making a huge difference there. It was covering so much ground, got some nice KOs, or at the very least, the threat of the KOs was enough to really deny any possible responses from coming through.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you have Fiery in your face and a Maelstrom backing it up, it's very scary. There was quite a few times Breads was able to save it from that situation, but you have to use a lot of resources to save it from that situation, and they can put you in it quite a few times, right? So it's definitely not an easy thing to do over and over again, and I mean, they were taking full advantage of it from the side of Winterfall. Not to mention Vens also just making sure Camilla was honestly not allowed to play the game. He was getting so many KOs, getting so many beams, just setting up Fiery and or getting, the play off himself, right? Just incredible coordination there, making sure they could target one player and just shut them down completely.
Yeah, really, really looking that way as well. You end up with that one player getting set a bit behind in regards to levels, not really able to get involved, and it's difficult to play 2 versus 3. That's Omega Strikers for you right there. So a lot of stuff to work on here coming into match number 3, which will determine whether who's going to actually be our total winner here for the whole match today.
Absolutely. I will say, I guess the X ban, absolutely the right adjustment to make there as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that I think that brought them so much more space on defense, which just gives them a lot more opportunities to help out the offense, right? In the first game, Fiery wasn't really allowed to cook because 3Z was just sitting on Daftgrass, and Daftgrass can't get the core out when X is just beating on him. So now that Fiery's getting so many opportunities, right? He's showing us why he is on the roster for this team, despite being in the Tier 2 league.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, 3Z showing a lot better on the X than they did on the Luna. Curious to see what they're going to go for now in this game number 3. And I mean, shout outs to Daftgrass as well, who was able to have a really solid game there on goalie. Technically supposed to be a forward starter for this team, right? They usually
he plays all 3 roles. He's probably one of the most
impressive.
He's the only player to have won a tournament on all 3 roles too. So very impressive player in his own right. Not to mention, he was, I've been gassing up Breads, but let's be clear, Daftgrass was also absolutely holding it down. In fact, had more saves there, though obviously stats aren't the only thing to look at when in the middle of a match. But there's something to be said about the Daftgrass goalie. He is absolutely cooking there as well.
For sure. We are still looking in for this game number 3. Maybe a little bit of action being taken by 3Z to make sure that they're going to be able to stay connected to the game for game number 3. That would be the hope, right? We don't want to spend too much time all hanging around. We don't want to spend too much time. I still want an answer as to how we were able to stand in that center point and not detonate it. I don't know what was going on there. We're going to have to put our top men on it and see what we can learn.
My guess is it's really just a camera angle thing. I think the object looks like it's clipping through because, the map is angled sort of upwards towards you, right? And, finally, the Inky Splash Zone making an appearance. This is I know a lot of people hate this map, but I personally love it. My teammates both hate it as well. They complain about it to me when we're playing the match. But I like hitting the button. Okay, I play goalie. I get to go hit the button. I get to watch the jet stream of water go. It scratches something in my brain.
For sure. So now we are looking at Inky's Splash Zone, our first look at the new maps here for the North American Strikers League. Let's see what it is going to influence for our teams in game number 3 when it's up for all the marbles. Ven's going to lock in that Rasmus to start things off. Double Rasmus coming on across the board. No, my focus is still on what 3Z is going to bring out. We know that Fiery's going to play Juliet. It's not even in question.
Right. I'm surprised they're not banning out the Juliet, actually. But I guess they're more afraid of Daftgrass's Kai goalie. But Daftgrass does have a pretty sick Kai goalie. In the past, it's been shown to be incredibly good at the line. However, he's definitely no slouch on any other character. And both teams drafting some pretty interesting comps. I do think Sundubu Strikers actually has a bit of the edge in this draft here. They have a bit more core control on this very wide open map with that Estelle pick over the Julie, right? Though Rasmus obviously probably going to go even with each other there.
Yeah, 3Z going to be taking over the Rasmus here from Grimella now in this one as Grimella takes the Estelle. Game number 3. We are on to the field here. Going to just be those single goal barriers now on Inkies. And we're going to have to see what those water cannons can do once they start opening on up to influence play at this really coordinated and competitive level.
Absolutely. I mean, this map also is so snowbally, right? So we're going to see if teams can make that advantage happen. When they take the barrier, they're going to get access to the juice box, essentially, and be allowed to make those insane jet stream plays, those centering the shots, getting the KOs, and what have you. Now Fiery finally manages to get that first barrier a little slower than I expected from either team. These barriers are pretty paper thin, but the jet stream's going to go, and Fiery, as I say it, the juice goes out, and Fiery just going to punch it right through Breads. It's always sent to the same spot, so Fiery has the easiest shot of his life every time.
Yep, there's the recipe right there. That's what they're going to be looking for over and over again. Is Winterfall off to an early lead again. They've scored the first goal in every single game. Got to give them that, if nothing else. Even when they were ending up falling behind in that game number 1, they were able to strike first. See if they're going to be able to keep that up for the whole set. Ooh, a nice shot there from Grimella. Doesn't quite find the opening, but now it's going to come through either way as Obscure Bread's just waiting there, going to throw it on through the center, and that is going to be a KO as well as nearly the goal found by 3Z Breezy. A crucial save there by Daftgrass.
I mean, that KO was pretty big, too. It took out a flip from Grimella there. Not Grimella, sorry, Vens there, which is kind of a big deal, right? That's a lot of resources that you've just lost. Even if you don't find the goal, it's just now much, much harder for your team to capitalize off the play. Though it looks like the juice is going to go up again. They're trying to get it into the jet stream, get a shot off, but good defense from Vens just dribbling off the corner, making sure that the shot is not centered for 3Z that easily.
Yeah, now Fiery now going to be sent into that stagger, going to be using the cannon for a little bit of defense, but stuck in the middle of 3. Nowhere really to go here for Fiery. It's kind of a tough position, but just looking to find their way out of the core one way or the other, forced to go elusive again, and still finding themselves face-to-face with Obscure Breads. Here comes another cannon. They're just throwing these down on cooldown, and a nice push in from the Astral Projection, going to take Fiery off the map. Now with that numbers advantage, here's going to be an attempted clear coming on out, going to get blocked by the Cosmic Expanse as a knockback up from Obscure Breads, but there's going to be the cannon again, not finding its way into the goal, and Vens with a beautiful shot to the bottom corner for a 2-0 lead to Winterfall.
That was disgusting. That is like the least favorite thing, I think. My least favorite thing I think that Rasmus can do, because I've had it done to me so many times. It's so hard. That core is so fast in overtime when you get the hook off, and then it's basically a core flip 50-50, right? But as I say it, Grimella manages to cover Daftgrass's clear with the Rose Warp, and now the juice is going to go out. 3Z almost in position, gets another chance. They're trying to put this core in, but just great defense there from the side of Winterfall, and they can't quite find the goal. And now they're looking to return one of their own. They are up 2-0. If they can get this goal, they will have a huge advantage in this early draft. Now 3Z, though, with the flip, and unfortunately catches it just a bit. And once again, the onus is on Sundubu Strikers to try and put this one in once more.
Yeah, not quite finding it there, but very close shot hitting off of course that last barrier and knocked out of it by 3Z Breezy. The mix-up. Beautiful stuff there to get the first goal on the board for the Sundubu Strikers.
That was nasty, actually. That made me feel bad.
Yeah.
That was an incredible shot there from 3Z finding that bottom pocket. I don't think Daftgrass was expecting that. Most people wait for the core to bounce into the corner, but I think that's what 3Z was counting on, right? He knows that Daftgrass knows to defend it. But as I say that, Vens gets a pass to Fiery. They get that early barrier, and now they're looking to snowball this advantage. The juice goes out. 3Z forced to evade. No meter for him. It might be dangerous later if Fiery can get on top of him, though Fiery is actually looking to play more up on the side of Breads, really, trying to mark him, get that pressure going. The flip goes out from Daftgrass. Finally, Fiery gets a chance, but just an astral protection from Breads stops the whole scoring attempt. And actually, an incredible core flip as well. Gets that barrier from the bottom corner. The juice is going to go out. And now, nothing coming from the jet stream, but the pressure is still there for sure.
Yeah, again, Fiery going in for the shot. Obscure Bread's able to clear it out once again, and Obscure Bread's looking a lot better on this Atlas up against the pressure from the Juliet than he was on DUBU. Doing really well in this game number 3, and another nice shot from Grimella, just piercing shot, gets it right through Vens and Daftgrass, and finds themselves tied 2-2 in set number 1.
Yeah, that was an incredible shot from Grimella there, managed to hit both Vens and Daftgrass, making sure they were hit stun, unable to save. Great placement there. Now Grimella with the flip, waits out that Cosmic Expanse, does not quite find the barrier, but still burns a pretty important resource for Daftgrass. Bread's burning one of his own as well, finally forced to from Fiery and Vens there in the top corner, but Threezy and Grimella are going to hold it down there, and it looks like the clear is going to be found, though the pressure is still on. Daftgrass actually walks up, bit of an overcommittal maybe, but Threezy, once again with the core flip, can't quite seem to find these shots, but Grimella covering for it, manages to Crystal Thorns it right through Vens and Daftgrass.
Yeah, that was almost actually a sick shot by Threezy Breezy. He was trying to sneak it through the goal right as it was opening up and just misjudged it by a tenth of a second there. Would have been real cool. They end up with the goal anyway, and that is going to be a lead given on over.
All 3 orbs up. Interesting draft that we're staring at. The fire up, going over to the Grimella, trying to get that meter, trying to get Threezy as many flips as possible. I mean, we saw what Threezy could do with the core flip in game 1. Actually, no orbs being drafted on the side of Sundubu Strikers. Interesting. I thought that maybe Breads would go for the Ponderer, have those, expanses up on cooldown more, but I guess not. Daftgrass taking the Dancer, though, makes sense. We saw what he was doing walking up so far early. He wants the extra mobility to be able to make those back and forth offensive and defensive plays. But as I say, Grimella, incredible kickoff from Sundubu Strikers there, actually so fast taking that barrier. Now that jet stream is going to cause problems. Centers that shot for Grimella, but great defense from the side of Winterfall, and they managed to find the clear. Now Threezy just stalling out with this core in the corner, looking for an opportunity to start up the offense again. Not too much pressure for Sundubu Strikers right now to contend with, and they are going to manage to find themselves another possible scoring opportunity. But great defense there from Vens, wins the 50. Fiery and Vens now on their own offense. Fiery tries to punch it through Breads, forces the Expanse, and now Vens trying to do what he can to get it to Fiery, but looks like Sundubu is going to hold it down here.
Yeah, it's tough stuff there for Vens so far. Vens just playing up at midfield, going to look to hook it back into himself. Has the core flip, he uses it and gets it on that bottom corner. Nice awareness of where you can find those goal barriers, and now they have access to the cannon. Will it be enough? A big KO found with assistance from Fiery, and now Fiery going to be in full control. Clear back on out, guaranteed by the water cannon. Obscure Bread's just going to keep pressing that button if it thinks he's going to buy him a little bit of additional time, as Grimella has rejoined the fray. Now going to be back on up here. Threezy Breezy with the whiplash, knocks it through, nearly gets it past Daftgrass, and now going to look to repeat the recipe. Coming on forward, has the core flip available. Rocketed across the map from full HP. There goes your core flip. There goes everything, but Grimella finds the goal anyway.
That was a pretty sick defensive play from Daftgrass there. Managed to hit stun Threezy right before he can get the core flip out and find the KO. Unfortunately, just great play from Grimella there. Manages to find the shot anyway. However, good stuff from Winterfall, and they're showing that they seriously might take this series despite everything that was being said on the analyst desk, right? And now they're looking to start the offense up once again. Fiery unable to get as many opportunities as last match, and I think this is what I was talking about with the big map. Lack of core control with the 2 melee characters might be a bit of a deciding factor. And such a big map as well makes it hard for Julie to find those kills, as you see. Can't quite get Threezy in the kill range, even though that was perfectly perpendicular to the wall, and Obscure Brett's just going to kill him right up.
Knocked on up to Threezy once again, keeping up control. Fiery going to look for the core flip there, knocked back on away, and Threezy going to be the one with control on this side. Goes for their own core flip, opens it up for themselves. The button going to be pressed here before too long, and Obscure Breads going to get pushed back on up. A nice combo again from Threezy. Love what they're looking for off the back of these cannons here for the side of Sundubu Strikers. They've clearly put a lot of thought into this map.
Yeah, I mean, in set 1, it was looking a little rough for their juice usage, but now Threezy, I mean, after that shot from just stealing it from his own jet stream, right, he's getting real creative. And this is what I was talking about with Threezy being like a freestyle player right before this entire series, actually. He's just so creative on the scoring combos, and we saw right there. But now that barrier's going to go down again. The jet stream's not going to find much value. 2 flips up for the side of Winterfall. Is going to find them 1 barrier, not even forced to use the flip yet. Vens now flips it into the corner. Fiery almost gets it through, but Breads just wins a great strike war there. So much pressure to contend with, but manages to find the save. And now looking to get this clear, he does. Grimella manages to hit it through. Now starting some pressure of their own. The jet stream is going to go out, but Venz make sure it doesn't enter it. Incredible stuff from him as well. He's been doing a great job of making sure that SunDuBu can't capitalize off the jet streams. Breezy now with the flip. Great expanse from Daftgrass. Can't quite find the goal. And just some gonna go back to a bit of midfield jousting, I think.
Yeah, as I say, Breezy just disrespecting, as creative as they've been with the juice there, just disrespecting it when it comes from the opponents every time. Gets rocketed across the map, gets taken off the blast zone.
Yeah, a little impatient there, I think, but Winterfall manages to find a goal. Some signs of life. They're not down and out yet. Maybe they could even reverse sweep this set. Now Venz whiplashes it through the corner, tries to get it to Fiery, but just great clear from Grimella, and Daftgrass is trying to play a little offensive, gets caught out in the open, not expecting to lose the midfield there. And the jet stream, once again, not finding too much value, but just the threat of it is so much pressure, forces you to reposition. Using it off cooldown seems to be the play both teams are really going for. Right now, 3Z finds the pass to Grimella, but great hook from Venz, managed to steal the play away. Hook from 3Z on his own, tries to hook Daftgrass away from the shot, can't quite find it. Great defense there. Venz trying to give Fiery another opportunity. Fiery just has not been able to pop off this game as hard as he did in the last one, but it looks like if you can get an opportunity, it might be a huge deal. The jet stream actually kind of makes it hard for SunDuBu to get the goal there, and now they're just looking at the stall out this timer for Venz.
Definitely. They did get the KO, though. Yeah. Fiery, though, buying so much time, like, just not moving the core, keeping it in their own control the whole way, and nobody on the strikers can really get up and deal with it. Now Venz is back on the map, and that disadvantage has been nullified. 3Z, though, with the core flip back available, going to pair it on up with the juice. It comes on through, but it's not going to be enough, and Obscure Breads actually going to lose their goal barrier for it. Now the button's available on the other side. Across the map, another score is found for Winterfall.
That was just incredible vision from Daftgrass, right? Seeing that the map was just so open in that top half and just firing it between everybody. It was wide open, but that's not something that's easy to see when you're trying to play defense. But incredible core flip there, manages to find the goal, and now Winterfall might be able to tie this one up here. As I say it, Grimella gets an incredible flip, snipes that barrier. However, Venz gets something of his own. The juice goes out. Great crystal throws from Grimella, but Daftgrass is just going to hold it down. And Venz, juicing one, gets 3Z on the kill. The expanse is out from Breads. Fiery is in prime position to get scoring opportunity here, or Venz, either one of them. And as I say it, it's going to be Venz, strikes it at Breads and pendulum swings, and Breads knows he has to evade the swing, but unfortunately, locked in that animation, can't strike it back. Great stuff there. And Winterfall ties it up.
1-1 now. I cannot stop laughing every time the button gets pushed. 3Z Breezy gets knocked aside the entire map and gets taken out. You want to see if there'll be an adaptation there before too long, but we're getting into the draft. There's going to be another twin drive on another Atlas, this time going over to Daftgrass.
You know, it's rare to see twin drive Atlas actually manage to happen, but we've seen it 2 games in a row from the same guy. What are the odds of that, right? 3Z getting the stagger swagger. I'm not sure if he's dying because of damage, though. It might just be the juice. Built different going over to Grimella. Interesting pick, actually. I'm not sure if there was much better for him. I do think the big one, however, is going to be Twin Drive on the side of Daftgrass and Rapid Fire on the side of Breads. Of course, Astral Projection not as valuable as Cosmic Expanse, but still one of the best defensive abilities in the game, and having it on that 40% cooldown reduction might be just as effective as the Twin Drive.
It very well might be. Because now Grimella going to be looking for that Rose Warp forward to try to clear things out, and now we know this is a fully competitive series. Once again, it is going to be 1-1 in that set score. Let's see who can strike first in set number 3. Opened on up for SunDuBu Strikers. Is now going to be knocked back up to Grimella. They have the laser ready. They fire it on across. 3Z now with control. Door flip from Grimella. Knocked on up. Doesn't find 3Z, but finds a setup for themselves. Piercing shot through. 3Z is just there for emotional support.
Emotional support indeed, though. And something must be said about the disruption, the damage Rasmus is able to bring about, right? Those hit stuns are going to be able to buy Grimella more than enough time to stop the enemy team really from getting the core, allowing Grimella to set up a shot like that. And 3Z once again looking to pendulum swing Daftgrass as Grimella goes for the shot. I mean, this seems to be their game plan. They're trying to use 3Z actually to disrupt the defense there, while Grimella goes for the shot, despite 3Z being in the sort of scoring forward position. But there's definitely more than one way to score in Omega Strikers, and they're showing it right now. Great synergy there. And the expanse from Breads finally forced, but used it to save against the flip, so definitely good value there. Manages to heal up Grimella as well. Incredible play from Breads right now. So much awareness going on. The expanse goes out from Daftgrass. Can't quite find the offensive play, and now 3Z's going to find that barrier and find an opportunity to hit that juice box.
again, the laser coming on across, not going to really be able to touch on much of anything, as it is just sectioned off to that top right corner. But Grimella again with a great play there, uses the little extra bit of damage from the warp to knock that core into where it belongs, and that's a 2-0 lead netted here for the DUBU Strikers.
Absolutely incredible stuff there. Actually, once again, mentioning 3Z, because the hook there actually managed to stun Daftgrass long enough to make sure Grimella could get that shot in, right? And as I was saying, just that disruptive potential of Rasmus. This is actually a pretty clever setup for this map. But as I say, Fiery doesn't really care about cleverness, kills Grimella off the side. Gonna get this barrier as well, and now Winterfall looking to snowball a bit of an advantage of their own. The juice goes out, 3Z can't quite snipe it out. Venz gets a shot off, pocket, dribbles it off the top pocket, and fires it right in with a strike. Incredible stuff there. That was creative.
It definitely was. Good stuff there to be able to find the goal from Venz. Still a 2-1 lead over to the Strikers, as they're going to be starting things off on their top side, getting it knocked on in on the right here. Venz keeping up the pressure. Fiery firing away on towards Obscure Breads. Hook landed onto Daftgrass, trying to open up some space for Grimella, but Grimella couldn't quite get the shot off. Now going to be again in control of 3Z Breezy with that Whiplash, trying to knock it aside. Pendulum swing off the bottom, has the core flip available, goes for it, but Cosmic Expanse going to stuff any attempt. And now the stagger coming through. Venz nearly finding a KO there. Would have been that big resurrect from the Celestial Intervention, though, as they are going to be able to open on up the goal. And now with the laser coming on across, Fiery finds a big KO onto Grimella now, as the core flip comes on across, baits it out of Obscure Breads at the same time. And now still going to be just holding on to that core, pushed forward by Venz. A nice expanse to block away from that barrier, but Fiery finds it anyway. But Grimella going to be respawned now, firing on out the Crystal Thorns as it comes down in from the bottom side, warp up, and Grimella just trying to dribble it in between the top section. Again, the juice is pushed, but nobody's going to be there to respond, as that numbers disadvantage going to be rearing its head. 3Z Breezy doesn't land the pendulum swing, and it's 2-2 now.
And, you know, earlier I was talking about Fiery not getting those opportunities, but now that he is, look at what he's doing. He's getting the kills on Breads, he's getting the barriers. He's showing us that he is still the man he was from last match, but finally finding his groove and firing up. Immediately gets a kill on 3Z off the top, actually. And now the offense is definitely here for Winterfall. Daftgrass has a flip, Venz has a flip. So many options for what they could do to take this barrier and start that snowball advantage. I'm surprised, actually, neither team has opted to flip just yet. I think they're trying to stuff it right in their face. Finally, Daftgrass is forced to use it on that defense there to make sure that barrier doesn't go down. It's actually going to be DUBU Strikers taking that first barrier despite the power play opportunity. Great Crystal Thorns from Grimella, and now 3Z and Grimella looking to do some offense of their own. And what a strike against that expanse. Pockets it right through Venz and Daftgrass, and they're just barely out of range to save that.
Huge by 3Z, as that was really starting to slip away from their hands there towards the end. Now going to be a 2-1 set lead going over to the DUBU Strikers as we get into the next draft. First selection going to be going to Grimella. Do they want the aerials? They do.
And yeah, I mean, the aerials for Estelle, absolutely huge, right? That projectile range, huge. And especially that blink range. Grimella going to have so much map presence. Oh, yeah. Surprisingly, a Castellast from Venz there. I guess he wants that extra time to work with the Whiplash, and so does 3Z. He gets the Chrono Boost, gets this ops for the speed instead. Timeless going over to Daftgrass. He has Twin Drive. This might be a huge issue, actually, for DUBU Strikers. They've been struggling a little bit on the offense there, as we saw, but now that expanse is going to be even more of a problem. It's just, and it's not much of, like, as I said, Fiery just dribbles against Grimella 4 times in a row and hits it right through Breads. I didn't even get a chance to explain. Oh my god, Fiery.
Yeah, definitely cannot believe what I'm seeing here, as there is going to end up being a nice set on up here for the side of Grimella, knocking things back up towards 3Z Breezy. Obscure Breads going to be ready on the reception, and now going to be knocked aside here. Let's go and see if 3Z Breezy is going to be able to keep the clears coming on through. Rose Warp down from Grimella, knocked back on up. 3Z Breezy finds the breakaway, manages to open on up that goal. The laser comes across, the juice not quite going to be enough. Grimella, though, knocking it past Daftgrass on the defense, but Obscure Bread's going to take control back on the other side. Another pendulum swing doesn't connect. Another rose warp doesn't connect. And there's the core flip coming on through from Fiery, but blocked away by the Expanse. Still going to be a look for a core flip from Grimella. Doesn't find its way out of the core. Knocks aside Vens for just a second. Threezy now has the core flip available. Knock back up. Laser comes through, but it's too little too late. Core flip into Grimella, into core flip from Daftgrass. But finally, Grimella snags it through.
Was massive. Also, that core flip from Grimella did more than it looked like, right? He does have fire up. It actually managed to give enough meter to both Breads and Threezy to have that flip, and I think that was what cinched the deal, even though he whiffed it on the core. I mean, fire up gives you so much value for core flipping, even if you miss it, and they were able to fully capitalize off that. But now, Vens with a flip of his own, looking to use it where he can, has it in the corner, can't quite find an opportunity, and Threezy and Grimella are going to get this clear. Ooh. However, Fiery is going to find the kill on Grimella as I talk about Grimella, and Fiery now looking for an opportunity of his own. However, Threezy just 1v2s, gets the barrier on life support, just playing a dangerous game. Breads finally manages to heal him, looking to get the juice out, just cut off the map, stall out for Grimella, and get a shot going. Can't quite find the goal though. Great defense from Daftgrass there. Bread's gonna go down a barrier now as well. Fiery with an opportunity of his own. Threezy finally manages to steal it out from the juice. He's been trying to do that all game. Doesn't die to it this time, and gets the offense going for DUBU Strikers.
Yeah, now Bread's gonna have to defend against Fiery. Does manage to just knock it on up towards the top side and get it over to Breezy, but snuck past Fiery, looking for a big Phoenix there, doesn't quite find it. Breezy now trying to knock it out of the beam in through with that pendulum swing, but doesn't find it. Passed on up to Fiery. Fiery goes for the shot, can't quite find it. Another Expanse, a kill onto the goalie, one more flip, and Fiery knocks it in for a 2-1 lead.
That was absolutely massive, and you know, not biased, but I do want to see if Winterfall can bring this to a set 5. Would be an incredibly entertaining match. And it's already been incredibly entertaining. So much good quality, high quality play. Actually higher than I expected given, you know, the sub roster from Winterfall. Yeah. But they've been absolutely popping off. Threezy now using a flip to find it a barrier of his own, but can't quite get it. Daftgrass just in the right position. Fiery does manage to get that early barrier. It does look like they're going to have the advantage when going to try and close the set out. The juice goes out, can't quite find anything. Neither team really getting much reward from it. Vens tries to clear it out, can't find the strike, but gets a pendulum swing instead. And now Fiery almost gets an opportunity, but great Expanse there from Obscure Breads, just shutting down any potential play there.
Yeah, Grimella with control up on the top side. A nice clear out from Daftgrass. Did keep it alive for a little while, but now it's going to be Threezy.
Oh
just
my God.
Sneaking it through the Expanse on the bottom side off the back of the Whiplash. How do you do that, man? As it's 2-2 picked on up.
This guy, Threezy Breezy, reminding us that he is one of the best scorers this game has ever seen. What was that? What an incredible Whiplash there, and now they're looking to close this out. DUBU Strikers with the core flip advantage finds the passway to Threezy Breezy. He's actually not confident he can win it through Vens there. Makes sense. Vens does have some time to react, but surprisingly, despite all that, Winterfall now kind of on this back leg, only for a brief moment though, as DUBU Strikers manages to pick up their offense again. Great strike work from Daftgrass, and now it's going to lead to some midfield jousting as Winterfall look to take this barrier, and what a pendulum swing with Vens, but what an Expanse from Breads manages to save that barrier, and both teams playing the highest quality point, I think, or one of the highest quality points of this series. They have been some contenders, which for sure. And now the juice goes out. The juice stream tries to get it to Fiery, can't quite find a great play there, forcing it out of the box, and Daftgrass under some pressure.
Nice stuff there from Threezy, going to stop the core flip from clearing on out the core, but now still going to end up in Fiery's hands. Obscure Breads has the core flip available for that last-minute defense if it comes up. There's going to be Threezy finally sneaking it through, opening it up onto that goal barrier as the rocket comes on across. There's going to be the return from the other side. Two crossing streams. Neither ends up with a huge advantage for either side, but it is going to be Grimella knocked back over to Threezy. Obscure Breads keeping the pressure on. This could be it for the DUBU Strikers. They just have to put together one more, and Threezy Breezy does it off the back of the pendulum swing. The DUBU Strikers will take this match 2-1.
That was incredible stuff, and I think man of the match here, Threezy Breezy, he was fighting everything, right? He was fighting all of the connection issues. And you know, the first set of this match here, he was struggling a bit, but as soon as he found this group, man, look at what he was doing. Not to mention, Daftgrass 103 saves, absolutely holding it down, but Threezy just too creative and too precise with these strike placements, these whiplash placements, manages to get so many goals. Grimella, of course, getting 7 of his own with assistance from Threezy with the disruption there, as I was talking about earlier. But incredible match from both sides. That was an incredible series. I love that.
For sure here. And yeah, I mean, great stuff being shown by both sides. I mean, you got to give credit to Venz and Fiery coming in here as substitutes. What a great showing from them today to be able to, really give these guys a run for their money, take a whole game, having a really close setup in that game number 3. This definitely could have gone either way, and the fact that Winterfall was able to put up this kind of fight with the kind of roster situation they had to deal with, super impressive.
Absolutely, and also, something to be said about Fiery, Tier 2 player showing up in this Tier 1 match and absolutely cooking. I mean, he had a bit of a rough start, but of course, Game 2, he was on fire, and Game 3, he found his groove and he was still playing out of his mind. Props to the Winterfall sub-roster. They were certainly no joke, even though the analyst desk thought it would be a bit of a wash.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think we thought it was going to be a little bit of a wash too, right? Like it's not hard to root against the squad that has to come in with the T2 substitutes, right? That isn't playing with the roster that they intended to, where the one player who is on the intended roster playing off role. Again, it's Daftgrass. He plays a lot of roles, but still not the role that he's probably been intending to play and been practicing on for a while. And you got to give him credit for the fight they were able to put on up here.
Absolutely. And we will be cutting to a very short break between this match and the next. I just need some water. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.